Hi everyone, and welcome to ZENTS Wellness Room. I'm Alison Litchfield. I'll be your yoga teacher today. And we're here to offer you a place to come to and calm your mind, relax tension in your body during these still very challenging times that we're all in together. And I just want to invite you to show up as you are. And this class is for all levels. You're welcome to bring family, kids, and I'll be giving you lots of options, lots of variations. So if you're newer to yoga, you're absolutely welcome to be here. Having a few props is helpful. I think we mentioned this on the website. So if you have a block or a yoga mat or strap, bring it along. A blanket is good too. So. I'm Alison Litchfield, and if you want to find out more about me, you can go to my website at alisonlitchfield.com. Okay, everyone, so we'll start with some breath work, and you can go ahead and lie back on your yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat, you're just going to lie on the floor. And we'll lie with our knees bent, about hip distance apart, and then you can go ahead and rest your hands on your belly. So we're simply going to begin with some what we call Ujjayi pranayama. This is a breath technique that we use during the yoga practice. So this is basically setting the foundation. This is what makes yoga different perhaps than other exercise, is that we're weaving in the breath, we're weaving in alignment and awareness. So we'll start this breath technique as our foundation. So go ahead and just take a regular breath and relax your body into the floor. And just notice if there is any tension in your body and where that is. Some of us carry that in our shoulders, some of us carry it in our jaw, sometimes in the pelvis. So you'll just take these first few moments to really arrive, to come into your body. And then we'll begin our Ujjayi breath. So Ujjayi is breathing with sound, okay? And we're going to breathe in and out through the nostrils. So the tip of the tongue will rest on the roof of the mouth, and your mouth is actually closed, so you're breathing in and out through the nose. And then we'll find a soft smile across the face. So you're just relaxing in. And you're going to begin to deepen your breath. So taking in a little more inhalation. And you'll make a little bit of a sound with your breath, similar to the sound of the ocean in the distance, or Darth Vader. And then as you exhale, a slow release of your out-breath. And you're just going to keep going with that rhythm, inhaling to the count of 4, and pause, and then you'll exhale to the count of 4, and pause. So we cultivate evenness in our breath. Sometimes we tend to be a little more inhalation fixed. We emphasize the inhale more. Sometimes we tend to be a little more exhalation fixed, where we emphasize the exhalation. So wherever you happen to be, just find that evenness in your breath. And then you'll let your ears be open and soft, and just start to listen to the very sound of your breath. We'll take about 5 more breaths wherever you are. So the breath is a technique in itself to bring you into the present moment. So it's very difficult to be thinking about the future, thinking about something that happened in the past, and also be focused on your breath. So if you notice your mind wandering at all, you just simply gently coax it back to focusing on the breath. And 2 more breaths here. See if you can feel your inhalation filling up evenly in the rib cage and torso. Pausing at the top of your breath. And then just slowly letting the exhalation back out again as if you were deflating a balloon, so evenly. And pausing at the bottom of your breath. And then last breath here, make it slow and full, inhaling. Filling up as much breath as you can. Breathing into the base of the spine all the way up to the throat. And then slowly releasing the breath back out. And then you'll let your eyes open softly. So we're going to bring a little more focus onto the way we're gazing with the eyes today. It's called the drishti, the gaze. So we're going to keep the gaze really soft and draw your right knee in towards your chest. And then as you exhale, extend your left leg out. If that feels like too much, you can keep that knee bent. Otherwise, imagine you have a sandbag on the left thigh and you're grounding that left thigh bone as you bring the knee in towards the chest and breathe. So in yoga, we're always sort of looking for the oppositional movement, right? So we ground down, and at the same time, we're reaching out. Great, and then inhale, draw your left knee in, and exhale the right leg out onto the floor. Or keeping the right foot down. Excuse me. And breathe. So shoulders are dripping back softly towards the floor. I'm going to keep a little scoop of the tailbone so the lumbar spine is extended. And then inhale, draw your knee back in. We'll draw both knees into the chest. And you can roll a little bit here side to side, massaging the lower back. And exhale, separate the knees apart and go ahead and open up the ankles in circles, circling the feet, and then switch that direction. You might feel a few cracks and pops, that's a good thing. Just moving the joints around. Great. And then exhale the knees in. We'll gently roll over to our side. And let's go ahead and come all the way up onto all fours for a cat-cow stretch. Okay? So we'll set the hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees hip distance apart. And just take a moment here and get nice and heavy and weighty through the hands. So you may need to lean your chest forward to feel that weight come into the hands. Ideally from the tips of the fingers to the knuckles is where you want to press. And then as you exhale, soften right between the shoulder blades, soften the chest without collapsing the lower back, just soften. And then inhale, we'll open up the chest, look up, arch the back. And from the tailbone, exhale, curling round, chin towards the chest, navel up to the spine. And inhale, arch the back, look up, open the throat, the collarbones. And then as you exhale, find that ground down through the arms and hands. Open the back. And find your own rhythm here, about 3 or 4 more breaths. Exhale, moving slowly and rhythmically. Inhaling. Stretch the front of your spine and exhale. Open the back of your spine, each vertebrae. Good. Inhale. We'll come back to center and stretch into the side. So left shoulder to left hip. And then right shoulder to right hip. And a couple of times side to side. And you can sway the hips a little bit side to side. Just find some more sort of fluid, watery movements. Great. And then we'll stop there and then take a big step forward with your hands. And then stay connected through the hands as you exhale, reach the forehead to the floor. And breathe. Your head may or may not come to the floor. It's totally fine if it doesn't. You want to focus more on the heads of the arm bones lifting and then the shoulder blades sliding down the back. And that's going to stabilize the shoulders, allowing for more opening through the upper body. And then staying low to the ground, go ahead and come back up and walk your hands over to the right. And stretch into this whole left waistline. And just keep letting the unnecessary tension in your body go. So we're all carrying tension in this time. So see if you can just notice when you're carrying the unnecessary tension and just let it go through the exhalation, through the movement. And then on the inhalation, we'll come back over to the other side and stretch and reach, opening up your whole right waistline. Seeing if you can create a little more space between each one of the vertebrae. Great, and then we'll inhale, come back up onto all fours, and then go ahead and bring the knees together, feet together, and we're going to tuck the toes under here and work our sitting bones back towards our heels. So that might mean you come here, just in a more modified version with the hands down, or if it feels okay and you have that flexibility, you can sit back on your heels. And you want to try to squeeze the heels towards each other, let your tailbone release down, and just breathe. Yeah, just take a couple of breaths here, breathing into the sensation that you might feel right here in the soles of the feet, arches of the feet. Try to relax your jaw and find that soft smile as you're breathing into the sensation. And in the last couple of breaths here, we'll interlace the hands. We'll take a shoulder stretch, pressing the hands forward. Inhale, slowly reach the arms out, up, without jutting the ribs forwards. You're going to keep the lower ribs drawing in as you reach the arms back. And then relax the shoulders. And one more breath here, inhaling, squeeze those arms in a little bit, reaching up on the exhalation, and then inhale, release the hands to the floor again. We'll separate the feet about hip distance apart, keep those toes tucked under, and then press your way back into a standing forward bend. So if you have some tightness in your hamstrings here, it's totally fine, just bend your knees a little bit. And rest your fingertips on the floor in front of your toes. And then we'll take a nice big breath in and lift. Lift from the belly all the way up to the chest. And then as you exhale, you can fold forward, take your elbows, and just sway here side to side. So we're still in the warm-up here. Let go of your head and neck. And just keep focusing. You can breathe out through your mouth a few times just to really let go here. Really let the jaw relax. And then a couple more breaths. Feel free to take the ragdoll where you're letting it all go. Shake your head. Shake your shoulders a little bit. Let go of the jaw tension. Great, and then we'll go ahead and come back down onto all fours. We're going to take it right up into a downward facing dog here. Walk your hands forward of your shoulders. Make sure the creases of the wrists are lined up. And then press. Remember how we started in the cat-cow? Press into the knuckles all the way to the tips of the fingers. Tuck your toes under and lift the hips high. So we'll start this first dog pose, knees bent. Getting that nice length through your spine, reach the sitting bones back and apart. And you want to keep the deep creases of your hips for this first one. And root down through the hands, let your head and neck release. Just find your breath here. Great. And then keep the right knee bent, extend your left heel to the floor. So if this is too much, you can always be on your knees. And this is meant to get a stretch through the calf muscle, the left calf all the way up to the hamstring. And then we'll bend the left knee and stretch the right heel towards the floor. It doesn't need to come to the floor. You just want to stretch it towards the floor. Great. And then come into a full dog pose, lifting your heels way up high. Try to get that length in the spine, opening through the back of the legs. And then as you exhale, slowly descend the heels evenly back and down. Again, they don't need to come to the floor. Just want to find the extension there, opening up the whole line of fascia in the back of the legs. And then we'll finish our next exhale and slowly walk all the way to the top of the mat. And then separate your feet about hip distance apart. And make sure the toes are spreading. I always like to reach down and just spread, manually spread, especially that little toe, which has a harder time. Great. And then hands on the shins, and inhale up to halfway lift, and lengthen from the belly all the way through the crown of your head. Extend long. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to your hips. Ground down through the legs, and inhale, slowly rise up. Exhale, bring the feet together. And we'll stand in the mountain pose. So you'll bring your big toes together, heels slightly apart. And then just let your palms be slightly open towards the front. Yeah, and let your body sort of naturally yield to the earth. So opening up, you want to wake up the arches of the feet, and then just let your toes relax. You know, drawing energy from that rebound of grounding and yielding all the way up through the front of your spine. Feel the head come onto the top of your spine. Shoulders roll back and apart, so you have a nice broadening feeling across the center of your heart. And then we'll bring the hands together and just take a moment. Always like to take a moment somewhere in the beginning for intention. So bring your intention to your practice. What is it that you would like to feel, offer? Maybe you want to offer your practice as a blessing to someone in need. Maybe there's a state of being that you want to feel inside your own body, peace or serenity. Maybe it's energy, more passion, whatever that is for you. Just take a moment, breathe it all the way in, breathe it into the center of your heart. And then as you exhale, let your eyes open and see if you can move from that place and spin your arms externally. Inhale, reach from the ground, reach up to the fingers and look up. And then on the exhale, just do a nice slow, hands come down the center line of the body. As you exhale, deep forward fold, offering a little bow to yourself here. And then inhale the hands to the shins, come up to halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, we'll step the left leg back into a lunge. Bring the back knee to the floor. And if you have one of these thinner mats, go ahead and roll your mat over if you need some extra padding or put a blanket under. And then inhale, just take the hands to the hips for a moment, pause, so soften in. Always come into each pose from a sense of softening and opening, finding the foundation of the posture. And then you can take your hands and just lightly squeeze the hips towards each other to create some stability, soften the tailbone towards the earth. And then from there on the inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And you'll just turn and look up without tension in the neck. So if you start to feel tension, just look straight ahead. Otherwise, you can curl back, look up towards the fingers, and breathe. Take a few breaths here. Inhaling, the belly comes in, lower ribs come in. Exhale, soften and surrender. Relax. Jaw releases. Inhale, bring a little more stability and tone. Scissoring the legs in. Exhale, soften in a little bit deeper. And we'll release the hands to the floor, step back onto the knees, take a deep breath in here, and on your exhale, lower down, and slide your way through into a baby cobra. So you want to come into baby cobra here where you can still lift your hands, but your hands are down, and then the elbows are in, shoulders roll back. Then come a little bit higher from baby cobra. So you're starting to press into the hands, tailbone roots towards the heels. Exhale, lower back down. And on your inhale, come back onto all fours. And an option here, if downward dog is too much, over and over, is just to come into this half dog, or we call it puppy pose. Otherwise, move your way back into downward facing dog and breathe. And again, take the first moment just to feel the whole shape of the pose. Move and sway. And then you'll settle into the pose. So hands are deeply rooted through the base of the thumb and index finger. And you follow that line all the way up to the back of the heart. Reaching back through the sitting bones. So there's a sweet balance of stability and ease in each pose. One more in-breath here, filling up the lungs, back of the lungs. And exhale the breath all the way out. Look between your hands and either from your knee or from here, step the other foot forward. So left foot forward, back knee to the floor. And then inhale, slowly come on up to crescent lunge. So arms rotating internally towards the ears as you reach up towards the fingers. And keep that stability through the lower body as you sink. Couple of breaths here with a soft smile. And if you notice yourself pushing too hard, just back off a little bit. And on the opposite end, if you feel a little lazy, bring a little more energy into the pose. Beautiful. Exhale, release the hands, and we'll step all the way forward to a halfway lift. Gently rest the hands on the shins. And on the exhalation, folding in, deep creases at the hips. Plug the four corners of your feet in, and then lead from the sternum. And inhale, the arms come all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands slowly back down the center line of your body, and we'll just keep going. Arms down by the sides. Inhale, slowly reach the arms all the way up, staying rooted as you reach. Exhale, little body blessing here, down the front of your body, all the way down to the earth, grounding in. Inhale to a halfway lift, straight spine, elongate. Exhale, step the left leg back. Release your back knee to the floor. Just one fluid breath here into crescent lunge. Inhale, nice and slow. Slow rhythmic movements. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back onto all fours. Take a nice deep in-breath here. And the exhalation takes you all the way down, right through to cobra. Inhaling, toes spreading, all 10 toes. Open the heart. Exhale, lower down, press back through. You can either come to half dog or full dog pose and breathe. Relax in, soften in. And see if you can find that internal support where the structure, the scaffolding really of the skeleton and the joints are lined up. And there's little effort as possible to keep you lined up in the pose. And then just breathe. And breathe in one more full in-breath. Follow your exhalation to the tail end. Look up between your hands. Left foot forward, back knee to the floor. And staying rooted into the ground. Inhale, rise up. Curl back. Exhale your hands right back down. And then on the in-breath, step all the way forward. Halfway lift here. Open up the chest. Open the collarbones. Exhale, a deep bow. Grounding into the feet and legs. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and up. Reaching for the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart this time. We'll do one more, coming back to our intention. And make this an intentional sun salutation. So to whatever that intention was for you, whether it be peace, passion, or sending some energy out to those that are in need, maybe those that don't have the privilege to practice right now. Maybe we offer some energy out Exhale the arms to your sides. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Opening up the side ribs. Exhale, fold forward. Deepening in. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale your left leg back. Release your back knee to the floor. This is our last one. Crescent lunge on the left. Exhale, hands to the floor. And step back onto all fours. Lower down through to cobra. Inhale. Outer ankles in. And on the exhale, press all the way back to downward dog. Ujjayi breath. So come back to that breath with sound. A little smile on the face. The gaze of the eyes are looking somewhere up towards the navel. You probably won't be able to see the navel, but just in that direction. And in your last breath here, look between your hands. Step your left foot between the hands. Inhale, nice and slowly stretch the arms up to the sky. Look to your thumbs. Exhale, bow forward. And step all the way forward. Inhaling, halfway lift. Open the heart nice and big. And exhale, fold in. And deeply grounding through the feet. Inhale. Radiate the arms all the way back up. And exhale, the hands right down to the center. Come back to your breath here and just feel, let your body organize around this central line. So the body, if you feel into the gravity and how the body is in relationship to gravity, and then you want to feel up into the sky. And your body is really a vessel that connects the two. Just let it organize around this central line for a moment, closing your eyes, noticing how you feel after a little bit of movement. Great. And then we're going to let the eyes open, and we'll separate the feet. Hope you're all doing well out there, nice and warmed up in your bodies. Hope you're starting to feel a little better in your bodies, as yoga always helps us to feel. So we'll start with the feet about one leg length apart. Turn your right foot straight out. And on the inhalation, reach the arms out from your center. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. So this is Warrior 2 pose. You want to just make sure that the feet are grounded, outer edge of your back foot in particular, and the front heel. Yeah. Good. And you can see my knee is almost at a 90-degree angle. It's not totally necessary. You just don't want to make sure that the knee is not over the ankle. And then the gaze looks over the fingertips. Make that back leg super strong. Great. Strong spine, open heart in this pose. Deep breath. Inhale, straighten the leg, and slowly turn to the other side. Left foot turns out. Big breath in, inhale, and then on the exhale, bend your knee to a 90-degree angle. Yeah, so the typical mistake here is to lean a little too far forward with the spine. So you want the spine to be vertical. Pelvis is neutral, and then the gaze is soft, looking over the fingers. Breathing deeply. This is a great pose to embody both strength and softness. We have to be strong in these times on certain levels, and then at the same time keep our hearts open. And inhale, come all the way up, pushing through the legs. Turn your feet parallel, and we'll go back over to the other side, keeping those arms extended. Inhale, exhale. This time, take the forearm onto the thigh. Great. And just take a moment here, looking in towards the navel. This is going to open up the back a little bit more. Yep. And then you just want to scoot the tailbone back a little bit under as you extend the left arm overhead. And then turn and look up softly. So when you first come in, again, just feel. Don't try to go right into doing everything. You just want to be. You want to take moments of just being in the energy of the pose. And then you can fine tune. So the outer edge of the back foot grounding all the way up to the tips of the fingers. Feel that clean line. Soft smile on the face. And then inhale, come all the way up. Turn the feet parallel again. Right back over to the other side. Exhale, extended side angle. So once again, you can look in towards your navel a little bit, and you can feel how that opens the back. In this pose, we tend to go right into the opening of the front. So you want to find the balance, right, of moving that pubic bone back, and then just scooping the tailbone under a little. Look up towards the fingers and smile, soft smile. And just come back to listening. And we'll exhale the breath all the way out. Inhale, come all the way up, pushing the legs. Turn the feet parallel. And let's go ahead from here. And we'll just turn the outer edges of the feet parallel. Keep the arms spreading wide. Inhale. And exhale your hands onto your hips. Great. And then ground down through the legs, which doesn't always mean pushing, right? It's just making that connection downward. Then inhale from there, lift upward, open the front of the chest, and exhale, falls forward, hands to the floor between your feet. And then when you first come into this pose, you can actually play with moving, swaying your weight a little forward and back in your feet, until you find that place in the middle. And then evenly grounding from the inner edge of the foot to the outer edge of the foot. So big toe mound, little toe mound, inner heel, outer heel of the foot. There's some detail. Then inhale, look up halfway, and keep that length in the spine as you exhale, fold. And drop in. So when you have a good, strong foundation, you can actually open your body more. Kind of like I think of the banks of the river when we have that boundary in our body. The alignment is the same thing in the body. Then we can open more energy through the body. Exhale your breath all the way out. Inhale, walk the hands out halfway. And walk your hands over to the right as you turn your right foot out. And then you just place your hand on your shin or ankle. And other hand on the hip. And just start here for triangle pose. Okay, so you want to start to open the chest here, grounding through the big toe mound of your front foot. And then inhale the left arm to the sky as you look up. And take a breath or two here. Just, again, feeling the pose. Listen to your breath. And then finish your next exhalation. Press into the feet and legs. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, turn right over to the other side for triangle pose. Make sure the back foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Front foot is turned straight out. And then inhale, stretch your arms wide. On the exhale, you're going to tip your pelvis, come up and over, hand to the shin or ankle. Turn to look up softly and breathe. You're just tending this vessel of your body, breathing through the different shapes that your body takes in the asana, in the yoga practice. Working the balance of in-breath and out-breath, stability and ease. Ground and the sky. Exhale your breath all the way out. Press through the legs, and on the inhale, come on up. We'll turn the feet parallel, and let's go ahead and just walk the feet back together. We'll take a break here, coming back to mountain pose. Yeah, so an effortless ease here in mountain pose. Eyes closed. If you can feel the stillness inside your body. So what's happening on the outer is actually inviting us to go more internal. And so the movement of the practice is great, and the spaces in between are just as critical. That we take the moments of pause and feel the stillness, notice what's happening, what's arising. And then let's open our eyes here, and we'll come into a couple of balancing poses. So we're going to stand on the left leg for tree pose and inhale the right leg up. And you're just going to take a moment here and just balance. Now, if your balance is really off, then you'll just turn to a wall in your room and you're just going to come here, okay? And then from here, place your foot either on the inside of the shin, or if you have the flexibility or the openness, you can lift your foot up to almost up to the inner groin and place it on an inner thigh muscle. And then once you have it there, you actually have to push the inner thigh and foot in towards each other, and that's what's gonna stabilize the leg there. And then you'll take your hands at your heart and take a few breaths. So again, if you find balance really challenging, just have a wall nearby. It's totally normal for your tree to move around a little bit. Just try to keep those roots deeply grounded and feel that rebound come up through the spine. Then from here, if you feel like, whoops, going a little higher, reach the arms up for full tree pose, full vrikshasana. And you can even play with looking up towards the ceiling, maybe even closing your eyes. And then just reach your body in both directions. Reach down and up. And exhale really slowly. And then we'll shake it out. And then move to the other side. So start with that balance, balancing on the right leg. And then when you're ready, either take your foot to the inner shin or all the way up to the inner thigh. And bring your hands to your heart. So just as in mountain pose, we want to stand strong. These times are actually asking us to stand strong in ourselves. So the poses that help us, these are poses that really help us to embody that inner strength, rooting into the earth, extending to the sky, and finding that space in between. And then slowly reach the arms up. And you can start to open the left knee a little bit more without moving the hips. And if it feels good, look up. And then exhale, you'll slowly come on out, shake it out. Shake everything, and we can take a couple of hip circles here, hands on the hips. And keeping the legs straight, you'll get right into the joints of your hips, and then the other way around. Great. Okay. So let's do one more standing pose here. Separate the feet about one leg length. Turn your right foot out. This time the back toes are going to come in about 45 degrees. Okay? You want to make sure that your back heel is lined up with the inner edge of your front foot. That way the pose has stability to it. Two options here with your arms. You're either going to take a hold of your elbows and then loop the shoulders back, or if you're a little more open in your shoulders, you're going to take a reverse prayer position. So you're going to turn the shoulders forward a little so you can get your palms together. And then once you do, crawl the hands up behind the back, right between the shoulder blades. And then try to bring the palms as close together as you can. The ribs are going to jut forward, so just keep pulling them in. Inhale a big breath, open the chest. And exhale, come forward. So as you come forward, keep your hips level, and you might come to that first edge, like, oh, that's my edge there. That's fine. As soon as your shoulders really hunch forward, means you've gone too far. So you're going to keep the shoulders back. And some of you might be able to come a little bit deeper. Doesn't matter how far you are, you're just simply meeting your edge. And then inhale, come all the way up. Great. And either keep your hands in prayer or taking a hold of the elbows. Other side, inhale. And exhale, fold forward. And so we tend to hang a little too far on the back leg. You want to shift the weight a little forward on the leg so you find that balance. Always seeking the balance. Finish your exhale, inhale, come all the way up. Turn your feet parallel, gently release your arms, and you can just take a couple of circles with your wrists. If you've been on the computer a lot, you're going to feel that one. Good. And then we'll come back to, let's come back to the front of our mats here. And separate the feet about hip distance apart. Take a big breath in, stretch. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up halfway, and then we'll squat down. Exhale here. Extend the legs out in front for Dandasana. So it's helpful to pull the flesh back from the sitting bones and at the same time roll your thighs in a little bit. Yep, that way you feel more of your sitting bones on the ground and you can get more upright in your spine. If your back is rounded, like so, please sit up on some kind of prop, blanket or bolster. Yep, so that you feel the spine is vertical. And then hands back behind you for just a couple of breaths, chin towards the chest. Take a few breaths. This is considered the sitting pose of the mountain pose. So it's more of a mountain pose for the sitting postures. Take a few breaths all the way through the spine, torso. Breathing evenly. Connect with that Ujjayi breath again. And on the inhale, reach your arms up to the sky and hinge at your hips. Take a hold of the ankles, calves, or if you can, your feet. It's also nice to use a strap here of some sort, if you have one, just around the balls of your feet. And then we'll just sit up nice and tall to begin with. And then exhale, hinging forward. Elbows wide. Try not to hunch the shoulders, just to go deeper into it. So I'm going to keep the spine lengthening, shoulder blades moving down the back as we fold in. With every in-breath, we explore a little more spaciousness inside the body, the torso, the rib cage, the spine. With every out-breath, softening, dropping in a little deeper, grounding in. And inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, reach your hands back. So I've taught this as tabletop the last few classes with the knees bent. So if that works for you, you can take a regular tabletop. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more here, you can keep the legs straight for this one. And then as you lift, keep the legs rolling internally and the tailbone lifting and curl back. It's a little more challenging. Just see where you are. And take another full in-breath. Exhale, lower back down. Great. And then we're going to mix up the forward bends a little. Take a few more twists today. Twisting is great for springtime. It actually moves, detoxes the body and all the abdominal organs, digestive organs. So we'll do a little more twisting today. So we'll bend the left foot over the right leg. And then take your left hand behind you and inhale, stretch your right arm up, opening the sides of your waist. And then you'll wrap the right arm around the front of the shin or the outside of the knee. Either one is fine. Okay. And then as you inhale, draw the sacrum in and up, the lower back. And as you exhale, softly look over your side. We talked a little bit about drishti, the gaze of the eyes. In this pose, the drishti is all the way to the side. And we inhale through the length of the spine, exhale. Feel all of those organs inside rejuvenating as you twist, detoxing, clearing out stagnation. One more breath in with a smile on your face. And on the exhale, deepening last part of the twist. Great, inhale, come back to center and stretch the legs out. You can just shake a little bit and go ahead and tap the sides of the big toes together. Shake the legs out. Great, and then we'll take the other side. So we'll cross the right leg over. And then take a moment here to again lift the spine up, inhaling. And reach the left arm up. Exhale, wrap the arm around the outside or inside of the knee. And so rather than focusing on going so deep into the twist, you want to have the balance of length and twist. Every inhale is about length. Every exhale is about twist. Listen to your breath. Last couple here. Inhale. Lift the chest. Open up the front of your chest. Exhale, twist. Look to the side. Good, and then we'll inhale right back to center. And again, tap the feet. Shake out your legs. Great. And let's go ahead and cross the legs. Come forward onto all fours. Set up for downward dog and slide your way back to downward facing dog. And go ahead and walk your dog out a little bit. Just feel through the body. Notice how your body feels compared to how you started today. Shake your head, ragdoll. Great, and half pigeon. So take the left knee between the hands. And if you need something to sit on here, you can take your blanket or block, put it underneath your left hip. Okay? Yeah. And then make sure that back leg is rotating inward, toes are pointed straight back. Then take a big breath in and breathe. Breathe up the whole front line of your spine, opening your throat. Exhale, walk it out. So you can just feel your way through. Maybe this is your edge right here. If it is, just stop and wait. Give your body time to open. Work with your breath. Let go of the unnecessary tension. You might find you can go a little deeper. I just want to invite you to take a good 5 long breaths here. This is a great pose to do some release, to do some letting go, surrendering to that which we can't control, that which we have no control over. Maybe that's the bigger picture, maybe it's something going on in our personal lives. And just let go, let go. So we have a choice how we can respond. This is a great thing we can practice in yoga. How do you respond to the tension that you meet in your body? How do you respond when you meet resistance inside? Control. And check out the layers, the deeper layers in your pelvis that maybe you're just waking up. Just opening up for the first time. You want to breathe in kindness, love, compassion. And just keep letting it go with the exhale. Final exhalation here. Let go in your heart, soften in. Come to a place of acceptance. And from there, inhale, slowly make our way up. So we're going to add in one new thing. Go ahead and roll over to your hip, your left hip, and you'll bring your right leg all the way around. And then you're going to cross your right foot over your left leg here. It's a very simple twist here. Actually, it's not that simple. A little more complex than the last one. So when you're sitting here, I'm going to face forward. So you can see what I'm doing here. If you have tightness in your hips, like I do, it's going to be hard. One hip is going to be a little higher, and that's fine. You can either sit on a blanket or just work that opposite hip towards the floor. Okay? And then we'll take the right hand back behind, inhale the left arm up. And same thing here, you're going to wrap your arm either around the front or the outside, fingertips up towards the ceiling. So just start here by yielding. As you exhale, let go in the pelvis, the sitting bones. Let yourself be right where you are. And then from that yielding, from that grounding, that softening into the ground, then we can start to extend more upward. You just start to lift naturally up, inhaling, and then you can start to twist. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. So you can bring your attention and your focus right into the focal point of the navel area, the belly, the lower belly. And you're inhaling there and exhaling, twist like you're wringing out a wet towel, wringing out the organs of any stagnation from winter time. Great, and then inhale, we'll release. Beautiful. And go ahead and step yourself back to a downward facing dog or a half dog pose. Reach back, and you should feel a difference there on that one side. Just be curious about it, feel it, notice what it feels like. Great, and then we'll do the other side. So the right knee between the hands. And make any adjustments you need to make here, that right foot in or out. And take a deep breath in, opening up the chest. Exhale, walk your way in. So start with that first layer, be patient. And be curious when you meet some edges in your body, when you meet maybe some discomfort or tightness or resistance. Be curious about it rather than tensing against it. And then you might find it opens up and you can come a little deeper. And focus on your breath again. So if you can breathe into the whole bowl of your pelvis and into your hip joint. As you exhale again, let go. Let the weight of gravity take a hold of the hips here. Oftentimes we don't even know we're holding on. We don't even know we're holding on until we're there. So last couple of breaths, really relax your jaw. Let go of any tension around your face, your cheekbones. It looks like you're just being held by gravity here, held by the earth, just sinking, sinking, sinking. And finishing out your next exhale all the way, slowly walk your way back up. And then again, we'll lean over to the right hip, bring your left leg all the way around, cross it over, and sit up tall for a moment here. So you might find your left sitting bones a little higher, that's okay. You just want to focus on softening it a little bit more. Great. And then bring your left hand back, inhale the right arm up, and exhale, either take the arm around the front of the shin or outside of the knee. And again, yield, exhale, inhale, start to grow. And the gaze goes all the way off the left shoulder. And notice if there's unnecessary tensing happening. Let it go. Find that movement from the inside. Move the organs. Twist, bring them out. And one more big breath. Inhale. Exhale, deepen. Beautiful. And then inhale, come out. And we'll just go ahead and shake up the legs. Great. And then we'll come right here into one of our last poses, Baddha Konasana, and then we'll do bridge pose. So some people call this butterfly pose. If you have kids out there, that's a fun way to work with it. So I like to get into this by bringing the hands back behind, lift the sitting bones, and move the sitting bones back a little so that the thigh bones are rolling a little bit inward. Once again, use a blanket if the back is rounded. Take your feet, inhale, lift up through the spine. And if this is enough for you, just holding this pose as it is, just stay here. If you'd like to go deeper, you can open up the feet like a book and use the elbows to help open the inner thighs wider, knees wide. And eventually just curl in. So we start by lengthening and then exhale, curling in. Bring your attention simply back to your breathing. Deep ujjayi breaths, breathing with sound, even in length, even in sound. And then we'll inhale, come on up. If you have a block, you can have it handy. We'll lie on our backs for the final bridge pose. So feet are about hip distance apart. Make sure the outer feet are parallel to each other. And we'll let the shoulders walk back. You should have two natural curves in your spine, one in your lower back, one up in your cervical. You don't want to flatten your back here. Right. And then keep the thigh bones parallel here. Exhale your breath all the way out. Press into the feet, and through the pressing of the feet, start to lift your hips. Now the knees tend to want to go wide here, so you just want to keep the thighs parallel as you lift the hips. And then once you're here, take a hold of the hands, clasp the hands under the back, walk your shoulders straight in towards each other. Yeah, and then once you're here, press into the inner heels to lift a little higher. Let go of your throat and breathe. So the knees are moving away from the chest. Chest is moving towards the head. Knees are moving away from the head. And exhale, release the hands, lower back down. Rest the knees in towards each other. Hands to your belly, and just take a couple of breaths here. And if you have a block or a blanket or a book, you're going to come back into the bridge that's supported. If you have none of those, you can play with walking the heels of your hands under your hips. It's a little more challenging on the wrists, but see how it feels. Otherwise, a little support. And just rest on the support. And see if you can feel the stillness in your abdomen. So quiet the abdomen. Start to soften your breath, soften your Ujjayi breath. Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, lift your hips, take the block or book out, and exhale, lower back down. Give yourself a gentle hug by drawing both knees into the chest and squeezing in, roll to your side, side to side. And then we'll lie back for the final corpse pose, Shavasana. So you're going to lie back, bending your legs out one at a time. Walk your shoulders back and in, palms face up towards the ceiling. Arms and legs are slightly away from the center. And just rest back for the next minute or so. Just fully rest back. Letting it all go. Let the body release completely. Let the breath release completely. You're welcome to stay longer if you need to. Otherwise, begin to slowly make your way back through some movements of the toes, fingers, stretching the arms overhead. And then roll to your side. And just nice and gently make your way up to a comfortable seat. Join your hands at your heart. And simply take a moment of gratitude for this practice, for showing up for your practice today. The more we take care of ourselves, the better we're going to be for others too. Just take a gentle bow of gratitude. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll see you again on Wednesday. And again, if you want to check out more of what I do, my website is AlisonLitchfield.com. Love to hear from you. Thank you. Namaste.